Howdy folks, today we are going to go over lesson 9.3, which covers the surface area of a cylinder. Okay, so the surface area of a cylinder is the sum of the areas of the bases in the lateral surface. Okay, so this is nothing new. This is pretty much what we've been doing for all the other surface areas. We find the area of the base. Okay, and then we find the area of the lateral faces, okay, and we add them up together and we get the surface area, okay. This one is going to be just a little bit differently. Although we are following the same process, it's going to be different because now instead of polygons, we're dealing with areas of circles. So good thing we just got done with that unit, so this should be fresh in your head. Okay, so we see this diagram of a cylinder. Okay, and if you were to take this cylinder apart, you're actually going to get two circles, right, from the bases. We know that. But this is the lateral surface area. Okay, so if you think of a soup can and you take off the Campbell's label and roll it all out, that would actually be in this rectangular shape like you see here. Okay, if you don't believe me, ask mom and dad, see if they would let you do that. Okay, so the surface area is going to be 2 pi r. Okay, remember that's the area of the base. The formula for a circle, okay? And now this is going to be 2 pi radius height, okay? That is the area of the lateral surface. Okay, and part of that formula should look very similar to you, okay? So this 2 pi r, remember, that is the formula for circumference. 2 pi times the radius, okay? Why would we need to find the circumference of this circle? Okay, because when you take off that soup can label, that circumference is going to be this base length of the lateral surface area, okay? So again, what we're finding here, that is the circumference of this circle, okay, or the cylinder, and then you multiply that by the height to get the lateral surface area. Okay, so let's pull this apart, do an example together, okay, because this is a little different. I want to first make this into my folded out diagram because I think that helps me. I'm going to have 2 circles and this lateral surface area, okay? So my circle's radius is 4, okay? And the height of this lateral surface is 3. Okay, so we're going to need to find the circumference because that is going to fill in this missing base. Okay, before we do that, let's find the area of the circles. Okay, so we have pi, nice red, pi times radius squared. Pi, we're going to use 3.14. The radius is 4 squared. Okay, so 3.14. Remember, 4 squared is not 4 times 2, it's really 4 times 4. Okay, so 3.14 times 16 is going to get us an area of 50.24. Okay, I did not multiply this by 2, which is in our formula up here yet, okay? So what I did is I just found the area of one of the circles. Now I am going to multiply that by 2 to get 100.48 for a surface area of my 2 circles put together. Okay, next I'm going to find what this missing side is here. I'm going to do that by taking 2 pi r. Okay, so 2 times 3.14 times the radius of 4. When I multiply those things out, I will get 25.12. So again, this is the circumference, which is going to be the base of this rectangular section of my diagram, okay? So now I can multiply that 25.12 times 3, because it is my base, times my height, to get 75.36. Now that I have all of my areas, now I can just add them together. So add my 100.48 plus my 75.36 to get a final surface area of 175.84 millimeters squared. Okay, so this one we kind of broke down and did it so you could visually see the different parts of the cylinder. Okay, this next one I am going to do from start to finish by just using the formula. So I'm going to write it out. 2 pi r plus 2 pi radius times the height. Okay, then I'm just going to plug in everything I know and simplify. Okay, before we get started with this next cylinder, I have to point out a mistake I made above. Okay, so hopefully you were so confused by what I was saying and you're like, Miss Schlegel. I thought that the area of a circle was pi times radius squared, okay? So yes, areas of circle is pi times radius squared, so please go back up into the formula. Make sure you have a squared on the radius, okay? I did A correctly. I added the squared on. Just when I wrote the formula, I did not. Okay, so we are going to look at this cylinder with our correct formula, 2 pi times radius squared, okay? Remember, we're multiplying it by 2 because there's 2 circles. Okay, this one will go a little quicker than our last one, right? Because last one we kind of broke down. This one, now that we understand where the different parts of this formula come from, we can just plug in what we know. We are going to find the exact answer of this surface area first. Okay, I'll explain what that means again. So we have 2 times pi. Our radius is 6, so 6 squared. Plus 2 times pi times our radius of 6 times our height. Okay, 6 squared is 36. Okay, and 36 times 2 is 72. Okay, so the exact answer of those circular bases is 72 pi. Okay, once I multiply 72 times pi, it becomes a approximate answer because pi, remember, goes on forever, never repeats. Okay, now I can multiply my 6 times my 9 to get 54 and multiply it by 2 to get 100. Oops. Okay, so 2 times pi times 54. 54 times 2 is 108 pi. Okay, so the exact area of that rectangular region, once we pull apart the soup can, is 108 pi. Now we can add together 108 plus 72 to get an exact answer of 180 pi. Okay, so that tells me the exact surface area of this cylinder. Okay, now I'm going to take my 180 pi and multiply it by the 3.14 now. Okay, and I will get an approximate, that's the symbol for approximate, the squiggly equal sign, as 165.2. Okay, so, and yards squared. This is the exact, and this is the approximate. So just how, in case you need to know both. Okay, I'm just going to go through one more example with you, just because this one looks a little different. because it is on its side. Okay, so I am going to do the same thing as last time where I use my formula. Okay, so I have S equals 2 pi radius squared plus 2 pi radius times the height. Okay, make sure you understand the difference between a radius and a diameter. This one was nice to us. It was giving us a radius. If it gave you the diameter, then make sure you divide it by 2 to get the radius first. I'm going to plug in everything I know. 2 pi times 3 squared plus 2 pi times 3 times 18, and simplify. Remember, 3 squared is 3 times 3, okay, which is 9, so we get 18 pi here, and 3 times 18 is 54, and times 2, we get 108 pi. 108 plus 18 gives us 126 pi. And when I now multiply 126 times 3.14, I get an approximate answer of 395.64 centimeters squared to find the surface area. Okay, so this video covered going over the surface area of a cylinder. It is important to understand where these different parts of the formula come from. Okay, that first part is the area of the base, and we're multiplying the area of the circle by 2 because there are 2 circles. The next part, we have the circumference, which is going to be the base of this rectangular lateral surface, and we multiply it by the height. Okay, then once we understand it, we can just use the formula, plug in our known values, and simplify to get the surface area of cylinders. Please let me know if you have any questions. Have a great day.